If you're a heating and air conditioning technician, why does it matter what you say to your potential clients when it comes to flipping a lead? And why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Sylvan Bell, coming to you live for HVAC Technician Sales Secrets on a perfect day to talk about sales and business, and a fantastic day to talk about you. All right, so when I say flipping a lead, you go to a property, you go to a house, you go to a building, and for whatever reasons, that person has decided to have a full-time salesperson come out or a selling technician come out and have a conversation. So what you say to that person matters. And I'm going to share with you a couple of things that really will either help you or hurt you. So let's talk about the couple of things that could come back to bite you. System sizing. So system sizing in the 80s worked roughly like this. For every 400 square feet of a home, you needed a ton of air conditioning. Well, I live in California, so I'm going to give you some California examples. You may have to modify for wherever you live in the world, okay? So in California, we have this thing called Title 24. Title 24 dictates electrical, lighting, and heating and air. And every 6 years, they update it. And when they started, the Title 24 documents in the 70s were about 65, 70 pages. Now this document's about 700 pages. And so as computer modeling has gotten better, homes have gotten more energy efficient. And there are some homes that you can get to, depending upon insulation, the direction that they face, the type of windows that they have, all the way to 1,200 square feet per ton. And so here's what happens is technicians hear in their head, they're like, oh, 400 square feet per ton. So then they go to a home that was built in California, and let's say 2010, 2011. Well, that number is now sliding. And so what happens is technician goes to homeowner and says, you've got all these problems going on with your system, and your system's not big enough. Now they open a can of worms for the person who's going to come behind them and sell that job, because what happens if that system's properly sized and it's a different issue? So when you think about systems, you've got two things going on here. You got the system, you got the delivery method. If the return is too small or the ductwork's not enough, you're going to have problems. You are going to have issues. And making a system bigger isn't going to fix it. It's actually going to make it worse. And with tight ductwork regulations in California, remember, you may be in a different state, what ends up happening is you start sealing up all this ductwork, and that system's supposed to be performing better. And we put a larger system in. Now that system's going to freeze. And then you're going to look like, hey, I thought that I knew what I was talking about. You have to be very careful about explaining what you see and what's going on. And this right here is why you should go to HVACTechSecrets.com. I'll give you the goods, not in the Facebook group, not on the YouTube channel. So you're like, hey, Scott, okay, system sizing. What else you got for me? Ductwork. Ductwork. Almost every home that you go into does not have enough return airflow. Almost every home that you go into has too high a static pressure. And like, this is super easy. If you're a tech, they have these tools called a manometer. And you take your manometer and you hook it up to the return, you hook it up to the supply, you get your math. And inside the furnace, there is a label that says 0.50 inches of static pressure or 0.75. It's probably going to be somewhere between those two, okay? If the static pressure is off, you've got a ductwork issue. So you've got sizing. If there is a ductwork issue and you are going to go into the sales process and you let the homeowner or the business owner know, hey, there's some challenges, you might want to talk to your salesperson about some of the ductwork issues. I calculated out the return size. It's not large enough to support the equipment, right? That's going to lead to fatigue on the motors. It's going to lead to issues with the compressor. It's going to lead to a lack of life. Like, these are things that you probably want to address. You've got things like line set sizing. Like, there are some old school line sets out there that are 1/4 inch, and that they're not even 3/8. They're 3/16 or 5/16 or 5/16. And so if these things aren't addressed, if they can be, because like some of these condos around here, you can't do anything about it. So if you want to cause problems for yourself, make definite statements like, oh, your systems are sized. If you want to help yourself, this would be the question you would ask. Does a system help you, and does it get to your desired temperatures during the middle of summer and the middle of winter? If the person says yes, why are you going to talk to them about your system's the wrong size? Right now, you're just creating problems for the person who's going to come out behind you and set that presentation up. Or let's say that you are the salesperson and you end up meeting somebody who knows what they're talking about, and they're like, yeah, that's completely fake. That person's making that up. There's no way I would ever do that, right? A 3.5 ton unit on an 1,100 square foot home. Yeah, that sounds perfect. It sounds like a nightmare scenario. So be aware that you can put your foot in your mouth and you can create some problems Start talking to, if you're a technician and like you don't do the sales, start talking to the salespeople and saying, where are the challenges coming with the leads? And you have to be aware that if you start going down this path, they're going to try to get you to set the perfect lead. And sometimes it's going to be a struggle for you. Okay. So be aware that that could be a problem. You got one of three things to do from here, just one of three. Find the subscribe button, click on it. Every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.